So I was watching my last vlog that I did, and I realized it has been a while since I updated you guys. Levi's here with me right now. He's, if you can see, he's right there. Say hi, Booger. Say hi. Anyways, he's chilling in his kennel. So I'll start with the trivial thing first. Muttlucks worked great. We really, really like them. The only thing that kind of sucks is just now, I noticed when I was at work the last day or two, PetSmart has come out with two different type of like their own like top paw type shoes. One that's a lot like a Muttluck and one that's not, but still would have, excuse me, probably worked for a lot cheaper. I was like, dang. But I don't know if they make them in his size, and you know, I mean, I think it's probably one of those you get what you pay for kind of things. Like, I know these are quality, and my therapist I used to go to at the school actually told me that she really loves that brand because during 9/11 they donated a lot of money and resources and things like that for the search and rescue dogs on scene. So that's pretty cool. Did you stop licking? He's licking something, and it's loud. Anywho, this is going to be mainly a university thing. When Levi went to the school with me, he did really, really good. Surprisingly enough, we had like 0 access challenges. I was shocked by that. Everyone was just kind of acted like he wasn't even there. They're like, okay, you know. And the only one that we did have wasn't even really a challenge. Like, we were walking, we've been doing a bunch of business in the student center. I mean, we've been in there forever. We were walking out, and as we were literally on our way out the door, I hear this guy calling for me from the back, so I just kind of go, okay, and I turn around, and the police officer, you know, jogs up to me, and then I can see he's about to say something, and he looks down, and then he goes, service dog? And I was like, yeah, and he was like, have a nice day. And I was like, thanks, like, you know, as soon as he saw the vest, he was like, whoops. So that was pretty awesomeness. And his big thing that he did really great with everything. I mean, he laid on the floor, he walked around all over campus, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, in his new shoes. Actually, people that saw us were more interested in the shoes than they were in, like, him or his vest or anything like that you normally get asked about. It was all about the shoes. But they wore really well, he walked in them really well, they stayed on. It was great. So I think we found a really good product there. And hopefully we'll get more than our money's worth out of them. Where was I going? Sorry, my cognition's been really, really crappy lately. Oh, his big thing that he did that I was like the most proud of him for was we rode elevators, and he was fine, just like I knew he would be. We'd never been in one before, but I was like, I didn't see why he would care. He's just so chill about everything like that, and he didn't care. Yeah, I think actually our first time in one was doctor's appointment maybe, which he also did awesome at. But I guess that will either be at the end of this update or it'll be a different one. Just depends on how long I talk, I guess. And so coming back, I don't know, we were going up or one direction. I saw a couple of guys, I think it was coming down, pack into this, and it's not a very big elevator. And I was like, I'm going to use them as my guinea pigs. So my best friend and I and Levi went on the elevator, and we were in very close proximity in an elevator with 3 men he did not know, not even a growl. He was totally cool with it. So that was epic. I was so excited about that for him. Back's hurting. Sorry. But he did really great. He did so good at the university. Can't recall how well he did in class afterwards. I really don't remember. But he did really, really great at school, and they did really great with him. So that was super cool. I was really nervous about seeing my therapist again because I never I mean, I sort of hinted at it, but I never really broached the topic of, you know, well, I'm training him for a service dog because I didn't really know how she would feel about it, like what she would think. And it turned out really well. She was so glad to see me and to meet him, and she just thought it was great. And so her, you know, having her approval of that was really nice for me. Other university stuff. So we've been going to class with me twice a week for at least a month. He's been going, and the security guard never gave us any trouble. And this is at the other campus, the adjunct campus, not the main campus. The main campus is what I was talking about before, where we had to go do some business up there. But the adjunct campus that we go to, we'd never had any trouble, nothing like that. Well, one day we were coming in, and the school, or the building the school's in, has doors, double doors, like at the mall, how where you have, doors, and then you walk through a space and there's more doors. And security guard saw us approaching and went in the doors, and I was like, okay, whatever. But what he was doing, which I did not realize, is he was opening the door for us, but the way he was doing it is he was standing at the hinge of the door and pushing it open like this. So when we came around the corner, Levi couldn't see him. I couldn't even see him. And so he gave me a verbal alert. I told him it's okay. I took control of the situation. It was fine. And we went on our way. Well, the next time we came to class, he was standing outside the building, and he told me he wanted to see my papers, my certification papers for him. And a little background on this day, I don't really recall why. I was going on week 3 of not having my medication. It was just a bad, I was super anxious. I wasn't even going to go. And then I was like, no, I'm going to go. I drove into the parking lot, and I was like, I'm going to vomit, because I was just so, I did not want to be there. My anxiety was through the roof. It was just bad. So on top of that, then he tells me he needs to see my certification papers. And unfortunately, when I'm in that state, I don't think nearly as clearly as normal. I don't handle myself quite as well. And I don't handle questioning and stuff like that as well, because my brain just doesn't work as quickly, and I get upset more easily. So I tried to explain to him multiple times that, we went through a private trainer, and the only dogs that have papers, so-called certification papers, are the ones that have been through a program, and there's no national certification for them, and all the papers from the program prove is that it passed the program's test, and they're not required to have them, and even if he had them, I wouldn't be required to carry them. And he was saying, well, yes, I know they have them because I've seen them. And I said, well, I know my laws. And he's like, well, I know my laws, because he's there in his security guard uniform or whatever. And he just kept arguing with me. And let's be known that first of all, and the question wasn't even about, oh, well, he growled at me. It wasn't even like that, oh, he's going to bite me. It was that made him think he wasn't legit. And I was like, okay, ideally we need to get him to where his alert is not a verbal one, especially not one that can sound aggressive because he's a big dog. But the fact of the matter is, he didn't technically service dogs are allowed to bark and such. That was his only way. He was like, whoa, there's somebody here. So they didn't think he was legit. And now this whole time, first of all, every time we go to class twice a week. Every time we go, we have to walk past the security guard twice. And we've been doing it for about a month. So, you can add up in your head about how many times that was. And this whole time, he's never had an issue, except this one day. This one isolated incident. Even after I don't know if we saw him after the fact. Anyway, even after we left class that day, he was fine. The whole time he's standing there, talking to me, arguing with me about this. Levi is laying on the floor. Totally unconcerned with the whole situation. So, I tried to defend myself as best I could. I had ADA papers in his vest. I should have pulled them out, but like I said, I wasn't thinking clearly. I was stressed. I was anxious. Which is why one of the many reasons that businesses and such are not supposed to subject you to an interrogation, because there are people, like me when I'm in that state, people with traumatic brain injury, other stuff that cannot physically handle that line of questioning. And it just makes their disability worse. And that was really unfun for me, but it made me kind of realize, wow, this is really important that they don't do this, and they know the only 2 questions they can ask and all that kind of different stuff. So he took my name and he's like, I'll get back to you on that. He's like, you can go to class for today. And we didn't see him when we were leaving, but as soon as we got into the door, and we were going to our classroom, I happened to see one of the girls who is my sorority sister. She's an alumni, but she's on my tree, so we're friends, in touch and all that good stuff. And so she was like, oh, we moved you, upstairs for just today. And I started crying. And I told her what happened. And she was like, no, I was like, he said you need to see papers. And he wasn't let us in. And she was like, no, you're fine. He's working, she's like, you're fine. I'll take care of it. Literally, we went upstairs in the elevator. I went to the bathroom, and I just, sat there with Levi and just bawled. I finally made myself get up and go to class. I cried through the first half of my class because I was just so like, it had just hit my breaking point. And it was really gross because, like, my nose was running and I didn't have any tissues or anything like that. So it was, like, snotting everywhere and it was just awful. And then he, I'm sure, picked up on that and, you know, and the weird stuff. It was bad. It was a bad deal. And we did have one girl that, came up to me. Unfortunately, she snuck up on us, which was not a good plan. But she came to me and she was like, you know, are you okay? If you need to go, just let me know and I can take notes for you, you know, that kind of stuff. And I ended up staying, but I don't even remember hardly anything they talked about. I didn't take any notes because I just, like, once I'm out of that state, I kind of go into this, like, coma trance thing where I'm just like, I'm there but I'm not. So I did that, but it was just really sweet for her. And I was telling a couple people in the class after class what happened. They're like, oh my gosh, that's so wrong, and, you know, everything like that. So, it actually has caused me to miss class, that whole situation, because we didn't see him on the way out, but, like, just the anxiety over having to deal with it again, and what if he doesn't let us in, and what, you know, regardless of what I know to be the law, the anxiety's been so overwhelming that I have not gone to class for 2 weeks because of that. So that's unfortunate. But I got home and I knew I had the ADA stuff, and, you know, like I said, hindsight's 2020. When I was in my, you know, sane mind, I can think of all the things I should have done and said and how I should have handled it. But at that point in time, I was just not in the right mindset for that. I asked my service dog friends, you know, I told them what happened. I was like, do access challenges ever get easier? Different kind of stuff like that. And I had, you know, they had said, well, I told them I have an ADA printout and I know that it says in the ADA that you aren't, you know, they can't ask for certification stuff, but I don't think I'm not sure if my paper has that on it. So one of the girls was like, get that, you know, paper that has it on there and tell him that the next time that he bothers you, you're going to call the real cops. And I thought that was so funny because I actually could. So I did look and I found, I don't remember where, but I found, a copy that says it, and I printed it off and put it in his vest as well. Of course, it has all the other stuff on it too, but the actual paper, where is it at? I'm trying to find it. I feel like it was this paper. Oh, here we go. When it is not obvious what service an animal provides, only limited inquiries are allowed. Staff may ask 2 questions. Just 2. Is the dog a service animal required because of a disability? And what work or task has the dog been trained to perform? Staff cannot ask about the person's disability, require medical documentation, require a special identification card or training documentation for the dog. It's right there in black and white. Or ask that the dog demonstrate its ability to perform the work or task. Right here. And this is pulled directly from the 2010 revised version of the Americans with Disabilities Act regarding service dogs. I even have the full document can be seen here. If you don't believe me, go look it up. It's right there. So I will be armed with that next time we have to go to class because finals are coming up and we are going to have to go back. And I am not going to go back without him because I shouldn't have to. I need to contact, another thing that's relevant that I forgot to mention. This sorority sister of mine works for the school. So that's why, you know. So we'll have to see about that. And he was trying to tell me that, I was like, this is a public university, is it not? And he was like, well, this is private property and, you know, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, well, technically everywhere is private property. You know, that's irrelevant. Like, anywhere that, you know, is a place of public accommodation through the ADA, you know, and it actually even doesn't even, it says that, but it also says, I don't know if this one, if I kept that part for this one, because I kept it just for that specific part, but it says about places that they have to let you in. It lists this whole thing out about places like members, attendees, or members of the public, you know, are patrons, you know, all that stuff, are allowed to go. So I would be considered, you know, an invited attendee, a member, because I pay my dues at my university. So that's stupid anyway. But he's like, the building, they just rent space in this building, and the building is private property, and I know it's a load of bullcrap. But unfortunately at the time, I wasn't able to call him on his BS. And I shouldn't have had to. That's the thing, is I shouldn't have had to. But, so that's the whole situation with that. That's been great fun. but I'm hoping she got taken care of. I need to talk to her and see what she did, and we're gonna come on with our paperwork next time, and it is what it is, unfortunately. Doctor's appointment, before I forget, that's what the other thing I was gonna talk about. He went to the doctor with me, the regular doctor, for the first time a couple weeks ago, and he did really, really well. He went first thing in the morning. We didn't have a chance to play or anything because the only freaking appointment they had was at the butt crack of dawn at 8 a.m. He's chewing on his bone now, by the way, so if you can keep chewing. He just gave me this look like, he's like, you can keep chewing. I was just explaining why there's noise in the background. So he hadn't had a chance to really do anything but potty. Like, I hadn't fed him yet. We hadn't exercised at all, and I really try not to make him work if he has not been exercised, just because he's too hyper, he's not focused, and it's stressful for everybody. And I just feel like that's really unfair to him. So I try not to, but I couldn't really help it that day. He did really well. He got a little impatient at one point because the way my doctor does it is like, when you have an actual doctor's appointment to go with your lab work, you go in, they take your vitals, you see the doctor, they send you to this little window where you hand them the paper for your lab work. They send you back out of the waiting room and they call you back in again for lab work. It's weird. Anyway, so while we were waiting at the window, he was all like, Mom, really? Because the lady in front of us was taking a really long time. But everybody was really awesome. I was armed with my healthcare specific service dog paperwork and everything, like as far as service dogs and healthcare, and he was allowed in. I was expecting issues. Never had a single one. And actually, we got on the elevator and he just laid down as soon as we got in the elevator. I'm sure everybody else was, in fact, I know everybody else was looking at me kind of funny, but he was like, okay, whatever. And come to find out, my doctor, who I absolutely love, adore her, is afraid of dogs. She hid it very well. If she had not told me, I never would have known. And she already knew that I had him because I had told her when I first came in there, because when he was away at training. And so she's like, I'm probably one of the only people that is not going to try to pet him. But, I mean, she was good with it. She, didn't ask me not to bring him back or anything stupid like that. And he did really well. He just laid there. Even while they took my blood, he was fine. So, yeah, he's going to keep going back with me, and he did really well. I was proud of him for that. We've been working on transferring from the pinch collar to the front lead harness. We've been using front lead harness on our walks. I've been taking him for walks a lot more to get myself out, get more exercise, get him out, and not just like, because when he runs around and plays, he's all just like, blah, like, this is my time to be crazy and run around and just be psychotic and out of my mind. But a walk is a little more structured. We practice the leave it. I'm okay, unless I give him a heel command, or unless he's in vest, I'm okay with him walking ahead as long as he does not pull. So if he starts to pull, or I was doing it today just as like practice, I would stop, and he automatically comes back. Or if I have to, redirect his attention, I say, come back. While we were out, and we were out at night with so many distractions. I mean, like, not like distractions like cars, but so many different smells and everything out on this trail. And it took a minute, excuse me, to get his attention, but he did sit and down for me on the trail. So that was pretty cool. I was glad he was able to do that. We played together. He showed a lot of interest in playing with me. It was quite cute. And he was okay with our house guest when we got back, which he was not okay with the first time. Then he got fine with it. I was like, well, let's see how you do after not seeing him for a little while. So he was good. We need to be going out a lot more. I need to be working with him a lot more. I have been bad mama. Really need to get going on, like, we need to go on outings like every single day and just make it so routine. Looking into when I'm going to send him back to training, and as far as how much it's going to, I need to get with my trainer and see how much it's going to cost, how many times he's going to need to come back. And then if he needs more than one other session, I'm going to have to sit down and decide, okay, well, do I want her to kind of graze over everything, get him started on everything so I can work at home on some of it? Or do I want to pick, like, out of, like, say there were 10 things he needed to learn. Do I want to pick, like, the most, and I don't know if there's 10. I haven't even, I'm going to have to count them up, list them out. But if I want to pick the most, do I want to pick the most important 5 and have her go really in-depth on those, like the ones I need immediately right now, and leave some of the rest of the stuff for later? I don't know. But I did discover that apparently, and I'll have to find details for that, and taxes are already done for this year, but that I can actually deduct him from my taxes. Cost of training, which I wasn't sure about the training, but that, I looked it up, and you can do training. Cost of upkeep on him, so any type of vet thing, any type of food thing. again, I need to find out more specifics, but I can actually deduct it from my taxes. So I will get all that money back. And that would be so helpful. That would, you know, even though you're still spending the money at the time, it would enable me to, you know, do more for him, do more for us, and it'd be very helpful to be able to get that refund back. Last thing, because I know it's been a long one, but I haven't done one in so long. I didn't realize it's been this long, and so much happened. Last thing I need your help with. He is like the gassiest dog ever. Like, we'll be sitting in class, I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody, I am so freaking sorry that, you know, I just feel really bad. He's just like stinking up the place. And I'm thankful we're all adults and no one mentions it, but still, it's awful. So I'm pretty sure that's diet. Everyone's told me it's diet. But the thing about it is, especially at this point, I just cannot afford to feed him, you know, $50 dog food. It's just not going to happen. So I want you to know is there something that could help? Now, I already know about somebody suggests putting yogurt cultures in his food. We're going to try that, since I did just buy him food not too long ago. We'd really like to use this up. He's already on grain-free, but I want to know, you know, is there something we can try that's not super expensive? And, like, PetSmart, I know, you know, kind of what we sell, but, like, Tractor Supply, for example, like the feed stores, they have so many different brands of dog food that I have never heard of. I don't know anything about them. Like Retriever and Taste of the Wild. So I really need, you know, something that's affordable that maybe could help with that. That's more, organic and things like that. So if you've had any luck with anything, you know, let me know. But it's just, you know, in a perfect world, blue, neutro, yes. But it is too rich for my blood right now. You know, I only make slightly above minimum wage. Like, that's just not going to happen. But yeah, if you could give me any help, I would be so appreciated. What's worked for you, what you've heard might work, and just different things we can try. I think I might, you know, start maybe buying some small bags and just kind of seeing how it goes. But yeah, I guess that's it for now. Sorry it's been so long. Both long as in since I've done one, and long as in this video is probably going to be really long. I don't have a timer on me, but I'm sure it's going to be very long. And yeah, any questions, comments, advice, always welcome. But yeah, for now, Levi and I say bye. Do you see? Levi? Levi. Levi. Oh, I'm sorry, it's dark. I'm trying to get to where you can see him. You can kind of see him. He's sniffing the camera. He's interested. But yeah. So until next time, bye.